Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, senators want local communities to have some control over drones. Keene, New Hampshire approves an aerobatic practice box. Gogo comes up with simplified connectivity pricing. I'm Bree Cross. It's April 14th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. A small bipartisan group of U.S. senators is looking to make minor changes in language included in the FAA reauthorization bill that would allow local officials to have some limited capability to regulate drone operations. But major changes to the bill's language is not expected, according to a report from the Hill newspaper. The bill, as it is currently written, would not allow local government to enact laws related to the design, manufacture, testing, licensing, registration, certification, operation, or maintenance of unmanned aircraft. Local governments could also not enact laws that would restrict related to the use of airspace, flight paths, pilot requirements, equipment, or technology. The amendments are an attempt to limit a claim of total preemption of drone regulating by the FAA. National League of Cities official Matthew Collins told The Hill that some issues are best left for local governments to decide. He reportedly said, quote, "The city should have some degree of say as to when and where the drones are operating in their jurisdictions." To be safe and proficient, aerobatic pilots need to practice, and this means having an area of airspace dedicated to that purpose. The Keene, New Hampshire City Council voted last week to allow Chapter 35 of the International Aerobatics Club to conduct practices on 5 Saturdays this year by establishing a practice box near Dillon Hopkins Airport. However, it was a 9-6 vote that came after the council heard opposition from a handful of people, some of whom live near the airport. The dissension for allowing the practice area to be established centered on the concern for the disruption caused by the noise of low-flying airplanes. In response to this, the club requesting the airspace has agreed to limiting the practices sessions to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. and raising the floor of the airshow box by 500 feet. The opinion was also expressed that the presence of the IAC chapter brings attention to the airport, and a lot of people would like to watch the world-class aerobatics from their homes. After the break, Gogo connectivity pricing targets light jets and turboprops.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. Gogo, the in-flight connectivity company, has rolled out new hourly pricing plans for turboprop and light jet operators, making connectivity affordable and predictable for airframes of all types. Starting at $39 per hour, the new service plans provide in-flight connectivity with predictable pricing. After paying for the first hour, customers then pay only for what they use and incur fees only when the service is being utilized. Gogo says their new plans open up connectivity options for turboprops and light jets at rates previously not offered. 2 service plans will be available starting July 15th, the ATG 1000 at $39 per hour and the ATG 2000 at $99 per hour. The ATG 1000 plan enables high-performance email with attachments, voice, and text. Occupants can stay connected in flight using their own smartphones and mobile numbers via the included Gogo Talk and Text capability. Several aviation navigational applications can also be connected through this service. The ATG 2000 delivers internet connectivity to enable in-flight web browsing and email, as well as most apps. It's Thursday, which means that it's time for an Aero-Community update, highlighting news and information about the incredible people and organizations that populate the Airborne Partnership Initiative behind Airborne Unlimited. This week we feature the IMC Club as one of our most valued partners. As all of us in aviation know that an instrument rating can expand the pilot's ability to aviate, but instrument flying can be dangerous for a non-proficient instrument pilot, and the IMC Club addresses this concern. IMC Clubs is the brainchild of Redick Witzikowski, who saw a need to help IFR-rated pilots remain current. The IMC Club is a membership-based nonprofit 501c3 organization focused on instrument-rated pilots and flight instructors. Their intent is to create a community of pilots in order to share information, provide recognition, foster communications, promote safety, and build proficiency in instrument flying. IMC Club chapters throughout the nation offer monthly meetings during which pilots can network and share knowledge and experiences. Through the IMC Club website and its structure of local chapters, they are providing a huge step to increase instrument flying safety for the general aviation community. We thank you for participating in the Airborne Initiative and for what you do to increase safety in general aviation. After these messages, GPS testing may cause service interruptions.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. The FAA is planning GPS testing off the coast of South Carolina on April 14th and 19th. The testing may result in unreliable or unavailable GPS navigation for a radius of 63 nautical miles at low altitude to 242 nautical miles at flight level 250. Gulfstream says its business jet fleet in Greater China, which includes Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, is more than 165 aircraft. The company says they have more than 65% of the market share for large cabin aircraft in Greater China. Ground testing is underway on the first GE9X development engine. This is the world's largest commercial aircraft engine and will power Boeing's new 777X aircraft. The engine will deliver 100,000 pounds of thrust and has an inlet diameter of more than 10 feet. 2 women have joined the ranks of pilot candidates for Singapore Airlines for the first time. It's reported the women were hired last August, and their training is expected to last between 2 to 3 years in Singapore and Australia. Universal Avionics is planning a training workshop on ADS-B integration during the Aircraft Electronics Association's 2016 International Convention and Trade Show. The workshop will focus on using the satellite-based augmentation system flight management system as the position source. Well, that's the trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. According to the head of the union representing transportation security officers, the Transportation Security Administration must hire additional officers to alleviate long lines at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and other airports across the country. The union claims that reports of routine hour-long waits in security lines and missed flights are the result of reckless budget cuts and a refusal on the part of the TSA to make full staffing a priority. These comments come after some SeaTac officials threatened to consider privatization as a response to complaints about ridiculously long lines. The union responded by saying in a press release that sacrificing safety by hiring rent-a-cops at even lower wages than TSA pays its officers is the opposite of what we should be doing. In respect to the long lines and high waiting times, the union says, quote, "This situation isn't good for the passengers or the employees, and it's high time that TSA requests the resources it needs to get more officers on the ground at SeaTac and elsewhere." Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.